Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, She Plans, She Budgets. In today's video, we'll be updating my emergency fund for 2022. So let's get started. All right, so this is my 2021 budget book. I did recently switch over back into an Erin Condren monthly planner, but this is the last planner I used to do my emergency fund update. So if you guys remember, this is when I was on my debt-free journey using the Dave Ramsey methods for the debt snowball. So this is what this looked like here. So for the emergency fund, for those who may not know, it is a savings method to prepare yourself in case you have an emergency, whether it's an emergency repair for your home, if you lost your job, or just any emergency event that comes up. Is money you set aside so that you can be prepared for that situation to the best of your abilities, at least financially. So according to Dave Ramsey, his baby step number 3 is when you save 3 to 6 months of your expenses for emergencies, and the 3 to 6 months is just a guideline of how much to save. All right, so that's basically the step we'll be talking about today, and it is an update because I have done that video a couple times on my channel, but since life's been changing, it's been bringing up updates, so I do need to make a change. I just wanted to flip to this page because you guys remember when I was like drowning in my debt, $89,000, and it's all gone. Woo woo. All right, now back to the purpose of this video. All right, so if you guys remember, this was my last emergency fund savings update. This is when I still owned my home, so I have my mortgage down, my Verizon, blase, but since I recently sold my house, I do need to update this. So some things definitely changed in all of these categories here. The goal amount that I had was for the 6-month mark, which was $22,000. And I did make a tracker in regards to that $22,000, but I recently changed it, of course. So right here is where I'm going to go ahead and put my update. I'm using this planner because I want to just keep everything together along with the chart. So we're going to go ahead and start fresh on this page. Not too much has changed for the most part. It's just like the main expenses. I'm back to renting because I recently moved from New Jersey to Texas, so I'm back to renting, so that number is different, and a couple of the utilities are different from before, obviously. And I do have new cash envelope categories, or at least they're not all the same as before, so that's why again I need to do this update. What I'll be referring to on the side is my monthly bill tracker. So these are all of my current expenses, but I'm only going to pick out the ones that's most important for during an emergency event. I wouldn't continue to pay all these current bills because they're not all like a necessity or important during that time frame. So I'm going to go through which bills I would be keeping if I was to go through an event where I need to use my emergency fund, and the ones that I wouldn't, continue on paying for. So I do have some stickers here I just wanted to use for this video. The savings tracker is from Romina Rosa, and then this leftover small washi is from Erica Life Vlogs, and I will have both shops linked down below. So I just wanted to use these stickers up. So let me go ahead and lay that down. The first expense I want to definitely write down is my rent. Got to keep that going so I have a place to live. So for rent, I'm going to write that is currently $2,015 a month. And then next is, I have down here my water bill, but I keep track of that or keep that saved in a sinking fund, so I don't need to mark it separately because I will write sinking funds down later on. Next is renter's insurance. Got to keep that going. So renter's insurance, and that is currently about $10 a month. Some of my bills I'm going to just round up just because that builds in a little bit of fluff. After that, I have my subscriptions that start. So for my subscriptions, those are definitely not necessary. And in a state of emergency, I don't want to continue to pay for all of these different subscriptions that I have. But the two that I refuse to give up are Netflix and iTunes. So those two would continue on in my world because I just don't want to live without them. iTunes I use every single day. Netflix, I don't have cable, so, or at least not anymore. And Netflix, there's always something I can find to watch on there. So for me, those two are a necessity. But obviously for you, you can cut those two out. You can cut out all your subscriptions. I'm going to cut out every other subscription I have on my bill tracker, but those two for me, they would stay. So Netflix is about $17 a month. iTunes is about $16 a month. All right, so that's Netflix. So Amazon would go, Epidemic Sound would go, HBO Max would go. Internet I would keep, because who functions without the internet? And my internet bill is about $76 a month, or at least I'll round up to that. So I recently just joined a dance class, and my boyfriend recently joined a kickboxing class, and we both would give those two up. We already marked down iTunes. Audible would go. Our cell phones, so Spectrum is my cell phone, Sprint is his, so I'm just going to combine those into one line called phones. And my boyfriend's phone bill is a little higher than mine, so in total I would just put about $150. That's not what we actually pay a month for our phones, but that's just what I would budget, and I'm overestimating just a little bit. Next is Disney Plus, but that would go. We did the phone already. Oh, so last would be my electricity bill. So I'm just going to write down here electric, and I currently budget about $100 a month. I haven't experienced a whole month bill yet, so I'm not sure where a whole month would fall. Hopefully $100 would do it. If not, then I would just come back in here and change that again. But right now I think $100 is pretty good. And then for the rest of these right here, these are the irregular bills that either happen once a year or twice a year. So these are all covered through sinking funds. So now I'll just get into my cash envelopes and sinking funds. I have different categories now, but the two that are the same are gasoline, which would be a must, groceries, and then I would still give myself spending money. For gasoline, I would budget about $135, and that would give me, I think, at least 3 fill-ups a month. Groceries, I would keep this the same as I do currently. I'll keep that at $800 and just make do with that. Spending, I would keep the same as now, $400. Spending was already lowered since my boyfriend and I moved to Texas. Our spending category was much higher than the $400. So this is the lowest I would go. $200 would be for him, $200 would be for me. So in a state of an emergency, $200 is the lowest I would go, so that number would stay the same. And then all other cash envelopes would not make the cut, such as eating out. And then last but not least would be sinking funds. And this would be about $350 a month. So it will be a little higher than I currently do. And I would just, use whatever I have in my sinking funds to cover whatever expense that I might not have covered or thought about if it pop up. So I would just use my sinking funds to cover whatever's going on. But as long as it gets at least $350 a month, or like is accounted for 3 to 6 months, then I think I'll be good regardless if I planned for a specific sinking fund or not, because you can use them for whatever. It's designed to be for a specific category, but let's say you have something else come up. Let's say you didn't plan for your car registration that happens annually, but you do have a car insurance sinking fund or you have a car maintenance. Just because you didn't think about car registration, if you would make that a separate thing, you could pull it from your car maintenance or you can pull it from your car insurance, because it's all still like about your car, if you get what I mean. That was just an example. And I do have one more category actually. I do want to just call this one buffer. And again, this is just to have extra fluff, because you never know what can happen during those 3 to 6 months you're in an emergency state. So I would just budget $200 as a buffer. And this is basically it. So let me just do a total. So total. And I'm going to just pull out a couple more stickers. And obviously you don't have to use stickers when doing this. This is just something I like to do to make budgeting fun. So we're going to total these up in just a second. So this would be 1 month, 3 months, and then 6 months. And obviously you can go longer than that. You can go 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, whatever is most comfortable for you. So let me do my totals. Okay, so for me, 1 month is 2015 plus 10 plus 17 plus 16 plus 76 plus 150 plus 100 plus 135 plus 800 plus 400 plus 350 and plus 200. All right, so for 1 month that is $4,269. All right, and instead of calculating the numbers for each category for the different 3 months, 6 months, I'm just going to skip right over to this part. So I'm gonna times this by 3. So if I wanted to save up to 3 months, I would need at least $12,807. And then if I wanted to save 6 months worth, just times that by 2, I would need $25,614 to live as comfortably as possible in an emergency situation where I needed to sustain my living or lifestyle for 6 months. I would need $25,614 to make life to make things work. All right, so basically from what I had before when I was living in my home, these numbers were a little bit less. So my previous goal was 22,000 at the 6 month mark, and I still want to stick to the 6 month mark. So that means I would have to bump that up to by to this number, 25K. And my boyfriend and I have decided we do want to just go ahead and call it 25,000. So we would be right here in this number, just cap it at 25,000 even, because we know for a fact that we're not going to stay in this apartment forever, and we might, when we move out, we might get something cheaper, or we might, if we go to another apartment, or we could buy another house, and hopefully our mortgage will be less than the rent. So we figured we didn't need to be too overzealous and just call it at 25,000. So that leads me to my next portion, which is we have been working on our emergency fund even before I paid off my student loans. We've been working on it for quite some time. I want to say really since 2020, when the whole world basically turned upside down, and when jobs were in jeopardy. I don't know if any of you remember, but back in like April 2020, the company I previously worked for did announce that they might have to let people go due to the state of the world at the time, and the state of the company. So that did switch me into gears of saving and slowing down with my debt payoff. And my boyfriend was saving. We put our money from our paychecks money from our tax returns for 2020, for 2021, and 2022. So we've been doing really, really good with saving for an emergency fund. And thankfully, my boyfriend was able to like stay on top of that, because when I did switch back into paying off my debt, you know, he kept us going. So with that in mind, with our goal being 25,000, of that goal, we have reached 68% complete. So we are sitting at about just over $17,000 currently for our emergency fund. And stay tuned for my next video, because I did get a comment on a previous video asking about our moving budget and like you know, just talking about the numbers in regards to our move. And I thought that was a good idea, so I do want to share it with you guys, how we was able to move across the country, what we do to prep, how much we save, how much we spent, and all that. Because part of that experience, we did have to touch our emergency fund, which we were able to put back, of course, because our house did finally sell. So I just wanted to touch on that. So we were able to reach 68% of this goal prior to leaving our jobs and prior to moving down here. So out of 25,000, we are at about 17,000, which puts us at 68%. So this is not something I never shared before, just so you guys know, just in case you were looking for like a previous video. There isn't one. I was just kind of doing this silently in the background, because 2020, you know, scared me, as I'm sure it scared a lot of other people. So we had switched gears in 2020, and this is what we were able to do in 2 years. All right, so that is basically it for this video. So we're still on track for the 6-month mark for the emergency fund. Our new goal is 25K, which isn't too bad from what our original goal was. Again, previously it was 22,000, and now it's 25,000. 25,000 is good, and then just focus our money on other things. So that's why we're just going to cap it at 25,000. All right, so again, that is everything for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye.